Let's assume that you've just purchased a car, probably second-hand. So the basics in how to look after it concern the tyres, the interior, particularly the fluids inside or under the bonnet. So let's start here. Now, the two front tyres should have they should be exactly equal. They should have the same amount of wear, and they should be the same basic tyre. So as you can see, this one has a tyre here called Super Cat. It's exactly the same on the other side. There is a reasonable amount of tread depth here. Now ideally it would be nice to have Super Cat tyres on all four wheels. This car doesn't have that. So here we've got a tyre called Severo, and we've got two of those on the back. Now that's still okay, but it's really not as good as having four identical tyres, which you can then rotate every 15 or 20,000 kilometres. And by rotate, I mean take it to a tyre dealer and get him to swap the position of the tyres. Now it's important to keep the correct pressure in the tyres. Here's your valve, and of course that just unscrews and screws back. Now the correct pressure is usually found on a plate just inside the hang on a plate just inside the front door. So here you can see the front needs 33 psi and the rear needs 30 psi and the spare tyre 44 psi. Now in terms of checking the pressure, in Australia we're using a lot of these automatic systems, so all you have to do is set the pressure there. So I said 30 at the back, 33 at the front, so we just press that. Oops. So I've set it correctly for the front tyre. Now all you have to do then is just take the filler cap and push it hard onto the valve. My advice is hold it in, push it hard and hold it in. This little clip is meant to hold it in, but often doesn't work. Then with a car like mine, the rear is different, so you'd set the rear, rear's 30, there we are, and of course the spare tyre is 44. Now this type of gauge has a reading here in kilopascals and in psi. It has a trigger. The up position is off, obviously. The right down position inflates the tyre, and a halfway position deflates the tyre. So all you have to do is hold the nozzle firmly onto the tyre, and then I'll inflate it, there it is, or deflate it like that. All pretty easy. Now let's have a look at the windscreen wipers. So the wiping edge is just here, and windscreen wipers always wear out in a year or two. That's just an issue with the sun. So make sure they're not stiff, and if they're stiff, replace them. you might have to get help from an auto repair shop. Now, looking inside, if you've just purchased a vehicle and it's got no car seat covers, I would advise you to buy a good quality pair of car seat covers and at least have them on the front. Now, it should also have a car mat. I've just cut that one out of an old piece of carpet. It's not a bad idea to have some sort of a cover on the steering wheel that protects it from sun damage, and it's a very good idea to have a mat on the dashboard that also protects the car from sun damage. Now, to look under the bonnet, there's usually a catch here. Oh, another thing I didn't mention is check the wear on the pedals. If necessary, buy new covers. Now, once you've popped that latch, okay, so under the bonnet, you're mainly interested in fluids, and the most important fluid is the oil that's in the sump of the engine. Now, engines always come with a dipstick. The dipstick goes down into the oil. Now, a lot of them are hard to read. To read them properly, you need to wipe them with tissue paper or a towel or an old rag. But this one, you can see these sort of serrated sections. The oil level should lie between the first serrated section on the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the sixth one on the right. Now, it's pretty important to change the oil at least every 10,000 kilometres, maybe more if it's an old car. And it's also important to use high quality engine oil. Don't buy the cheap stuff. Now, the other thing that you're interested in under the bonnet are the fluid levels. So here you've got a brake fluid level, and you can see the brake fluid is up to the word max. That's fine. Brake fluid should be changed every 2 or 3 years, because in spite of the supposedly airtight cap, moisture will get in, damp air will get in. Now, dampness basically destroys the fluid, the special brake fluid that's in there. So make sure you get a mechanic to change that fluid every 2 or 3 years. And if you've just bought the car, it probably hasn't been changed, so talk to your mechanic. Now, here is the radiator cap. You certainly don't want to undo that when the engine's hot. The way these things are designed is when the engine gets really hot, fluid passes through here, through this hose into a reservoir. Now, you can see the word max, so the fluid, and it should look green or blue depending on what quality of coolant's used, and it should be around this max mark here. It's certainly above the minimum mark, which is down there. This container here is just for water for your windscreen washers, and it's a good idea to put a bit of proprietary windscreen washer detergent in there, particularly if you live in a place where insects get squashed on the windscreen. Now, batteries, in the old days, you used to actually have to check the fluid in the battery periodically and fill it up with distilled water. Now, those days have gone. These days all batteries are permanently sealed, and they have this little, can you just see there's a green light down there? It's pretty hard to see, but if that green light is not there, then that means the battery's in trouble and you need to consult a mechanic or a battery shop. So the other things to be aware of, the air that is used by the engine gets sucked through an air filter. Now in this particular model, the air filter is accessible. You just take these clips off. I won't actually do it. Most air filters are pretty easy to check. If they look dirty, then they are dirty, so replace them. Now all these parts are reasonably expensive, but if you don't look after your car, it's just money down the drain. So if you've spent a fair bit of money, even a few thousand on a car, then it certainly pays to look after it. And by looking after it, don't buy cheap products. Buy a good air filter when you buy one. Buy a good battery when you buy one. Don't buy the cheapest on the market. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching the video, and if you've got any queries, drop a comment or drop me an email to my email address, which can be found on my website, Only One Planet. Thanks.